The story, a scary one, of Carmen Winstead is an urban legend about a 17-year-old girl who was pushed down a sewer opening by five girls she thought they were her friends. The chain letter claims that a boy named David Gregory died when he didn't pass on. Carmen Winstead was 17 years old when her parents decided to move to Indiana. Her father had lost his job, and the only way he could find new employment was by moving to a new state. The relocation caused a lot of problems for Carmen. She had to leave her friends behind and attend to a new school in Indiana. Carmen had a hard time making new friends when she changed schools. It was the middle of the school year, and most of the students had no interest in befriending the new girl. Intentionally, she spent many days alone, walking from class to class without speaking to anyone. But she eventually started hanging out with a group of five girls. Carmen thought these girls were her friends, but it wasn't long until she discovered that they had been talking about her behind her back and spreading vile rumors. When she confronted them, the girls turned on her and began bullying her every day, making her life a misery. They started out by calling her names, but then bullying got much worse. One day, she left her school books in the classroom on break time, and when she returned, she found someone had taken a Sharpie and written dirty words all over the books. Another day, she opened her bag and discovered someone had poured yogurt all over the insides. Sometimes she would come home from school and find her locker had been vandalized. The final straw was when she put her coat on at recess and found out that someone had stuffed dog poop in her pockets. There and then, Carmen decided that she couldn't take the bullying any longer. She planned to stay behind. That evening after school, and told her teacher about what happened. Unfortunately, her decision became too late to save her life. After lunch, her teacher announced that the school was holding a fire drill. When the alarm sounded, Carmen and all the other students fled out of the classroom and assembled to the yard outside. As the other teachers read out the roll call, a gang of five girls decided it was a great opportunity to embarrass Carmen in front of the whole school during the fire drill. They moved over to where Carmen was standing, near a sewer drain, and began crowding over the poor girl, getting in her face and nudging her towards the open manhole. They pushed her, and she tripped over and fell headfirst in the manhole. And when they saw her falling, the girls started giggling when Carmen's name was called out. They shouted, "She's down in the sewer!" All of the other students began laughing, but when the teacher looked down at the manhole and saw Carmen's body lying at the bottom in the muck and the poop, the laughter abruptly stopped. Her head was twisted around at the odd angle of her face, and it was covered in blood. Worse still, she wasn't moving. There was nothing any of the five teachers can do for her. Carmen was dead, and when the police arrived and went down to the sewer, they determined that she had broken her neck. Her face had been torn off when she hit the ladder on the way down, and her neck had snapped when she landed on the head first on the concrete at the bottom. The police hauled Carmen's body out of the sewer and sent her to the Monterey. Everyone had to stay behind after school while the police questioned all of Carmen's classmates. The five girls lied to the police, saying they had witnessed Carmen falling in the sewer. The police believed the girls, and Carmen Winstead's death was ruled by an accident, and that was the case closed. Everyone thought that it was the last day they would ever hear of Carmen Winstead, but they were wrong. Months later, Carmen's classmates began receiving strange emails on their MySpaces. The emails were titled, "They Pushed Her," and claimed that Carmen didn't had fallen in the sewer, but she had been pushed. The emails also warned that the guilty people should own up to them and take responsibility for their crime, but they didn't there, and there would be horrible consequences. Most people dismissed the emails as a hoax, but others were not too sure. A few days later, one of the girls who pushed Carmen down the sewer was at home taking a shower when she heard a strange cackling laugh. It seemed to be coming from the drain. The girl started to freak out and ran out of the bathroom. That night, the girl said goodnight to her mom and went to sleep. 5 hours later, her mom was woken up in the middle of the night by a loud noise that resounded throughout the house. She ran into her daughter's bedroom, only to find it empty. There was no trace of the girl. She wondered her mother had called the police, and even when they arrived, they conducted the search of the area. Eventually, they discovered the girl's grimly remains. Her corpse was lying in the sewer, covered in the muck and poop. Her neck was broken, and her face was missing. It had been completely torn off. One by one, all of the girls who had pushed Carmen that day were found dead. They had all been killed in the exact same way when they were all found in the exact same spot. In the sewer at the bottom of the same uncovered manhole where Carmen had met her doom. But the killing didn't stop there. More and more of Carmen's former classmates were found dead, and it seemed that anyone who didn't believe that Carmen had been pushed was eventually found in the sewer with their necks broken and their faces torn off. They say that Carmen's ghost is still on a rampage, hunting down anyone who doesn't believe her story. According to the legend, Carmen will get you, whenever it's from a toilet, shower, a sink, or a drain. When you go to sleep, you'll wake up in the sewer in complete darkness, paralyzed, and unable to move, hearing the cackling under all around you. Then you scream in horror when Carmen will come in near and chew your face off. So be careful who you bully, because you might find yourself receiving the end of the curse of Carmen Winstead. Well, my pretties, that was Carmen Winstead, a urban legend horror story. My final thoughts on the story? Well, I've seen so many videos of people narrating this story online, but they also did some debunking videos, whether or not this was actually real, based on real events, and etc. I honestly really do find that this actually shows that everybody needs to be, respectful to everybody else in school. Doesn't matter if it's, a person or whatever. I mean, everybody is always, different. I mean, people shouldn't be, doing these things just because they don't like someone. They could just simply say that they don't like them and just move on with their day. I mean, I was a victim of bullying at school, and I'm sure most people were victims of bullying. I mean, I was one of the victims that I got bullied in school, but I'm sure most of you guys who have been to school or are still in school or out of school probably will know about the bullying and that. So, I guess with that being the case and that being said, I still find this to be a really good story. It's a pretty fun one. What I mean by fun story is, I really like this story. I mean, it's actually based on the real life event things, but I'm kind of wondering if this is actually true or not. I really don't know, because this story has been, around for quite a few years. I've seen actually some few narrations of it, so I thought I'd go ahead and, give this one a go. This story was awesome. I do find it to be a pretty good story, but it also leaves me questions on, I think this might have been Carmen's ghost trying to get revenge on people that have sat there and did some things such as, killing the girls, basically trying to get a revenge. So, yeah, I mean, it's still messed up a thing, but it's still a pretty good story, and I still find this to be, a pretty awesome story. So, I guess with that being the case, that being said, the grammar was pretty good, as well as the sentence structuring. It's the storyline, everything about it was flat out amazing. I mean, it's actually could pretty much be very well true, but like I said, I don't really know if it's actually true or not. But I guess we won't truly know it entirely unless we know for sure. So, I guess with that being the case, and that being said, in my personal eyes, it's a fun story. I do like it. I thought it was neat, well made in detail, and I personally thought it was a pretty good story. So anyways, I guess with that being said and that being the case, yeah, I recommend you guys go check out this story. It's on Scary Stories for Kids site. Well, Scary Stories site, but it's not on a regular Creepypasta wiki or anything for any of you guys wondering. It's still a pretty good story. I still find this to be really amazing, well made in detail. It's a pretty awesome creepypasta. Or well, it's an urban legend, but I guess if you want to call this a creepypasta, you can. But yeah, it's still a really fun story. I do find it to be well made in detail. It's pretty great. I do like the concept. I like the grammar. Everything about it was just flat out amazing. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and say this right now that This is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. Now, my final rating of this story, which before I get to that, I want to say this is just my own opinion. You happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. Anyways, this is a pretty good story. I do like it. It's a well-made story. It's pretty good for what it is. It's a really awesome story, and I do really appreciate how well this is written in a sense, because of how, it's really neat. And, this teaches people a lesson, saying if you do something bad like what this story is, then karma's going to come and bite you in the ass. That's basically what this story really is. And that's what it's trying to portray, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I guess with that being the case and that being said, to the author of the story, I can't seem to find out who isn't. So, yeah. Anyways, with that being the case and that being said, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know who the original author of the story is, so, yeah. I'm going to leave this as anonymous for now. If I ever do find out who the original author of the story is, I'll be sure to give him or her or him proper credit. So anyways, with that being said, that being the case, it's a pretty good story. I recommend you guys check it out if you haven't. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, my final rating is 10 out of 10 for those who didn't hear my rating. But anyways, this is still a good story. I recommend you guys check it out. And as always, yeah, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.